Huh. It's been a while since I made a traditional Reddit video. I wonder what I should cover. Maybe something not controversial and safe that can help me achieve to be more relatable to a wider audience. But which subreddit? Wait, I might know the perfect non-offensive subreddit to cover. r/liberalgunowners. Gun ownership through a liberal lens. This is a place for liberal gun owners who want to discuss gun ownership absent the noise of most right-leaning pro-gun forums. Liberal here is left of center in United States political terms. Liberal, leftist, progressive, those who would identify as Democrats, progressives, socialists, etc. This does not mean classical liberal or right-leaning libertarians. At first glance before making this video, most of the posts are just the left's version of cringy gun builds and a mix of normal guns, asking general questions, and of course, posts that I disagree with, but I honestly thought other subreddits were more deserving of a video, so I kinda glanced past it for a little bit. However, times have changed. I've seen a ginormous amount of posts that surfaced on my radar in the last month that just reeks of copium, hypocrisy, and laughs. So without further ado, you just don't want insert group to own guns. I know this is going to come up in the comments section, so I might as well nip it in the bud as soon as possible and discuss my views on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is absolute. It says what it means. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. I believe every able-bodied, law-abiding, sane individual should own whatever gun they want to own. That means no. I don't care if you're a faction of politics I disagree with, you should be able to own a gun. And for a couple of you on my side, yes, I do realize that some on the other side wouldn't afford that to me. But they also believe our side wouldn't afford them that right if given a chance. So I think that's what kind of contributes towards this line of thinking. This is just a brief explanation of my views, and I could honestly talk about this for hours, but alas, we need to move on. Hopefully that cleared the air with most of you. So, without further ado, I, Wubba Bubba, will present you a smorgasbord of different types of posts contained within today's subject, r/liberal gun owners. Let's start with the most infuriating post you'll see on this subreddit. Anytime the inevitable happens when a Democrat legislator, governor, or president pushes a gun bill over the finish line, they just shift the fucking blame by either pretending not to see this coming or talking about Republican leaders that cave into anti-gun rhetoric. Case in point, Colorado Governor Jared Polis passed an assault weapons ban and other awful shit into law this year. If you are a sane individual, you would have seen this coming a mile away when the governor is a self-admitted Redditor who LARPs as a light libertarian. Side note, his response to critics was saying that these laws somehow protected the Second Amendment and Colorados can continue to purchase the gun of their choice, despite passing the exact opposite. Man, Redditors with power really think we're this stupid. But somehow, this shocked a lot of people who used this subreddit. Colorado Governor Jared Polis betrays his liberal values and signs SB 25003. Are there any real liberals left in the Democrat Party? This guy was endorsed by gun control groups. What did you guys expect? I thought Colorado was considered a purple state. How the fuck is stuff like this getting through? What? Colorado is the bluest... I can't. And just like clockwork too, they blame the other side. These two want to confiscate your guns before you've been tried, even for misdemeanor crimes. It's not just Democrats. I do kinda see what they're coming from, but comparing Pam Bondi and Trump discussing red flag laws 6 years ago to laws getting passed in the current day, it just doesn't make sense. I'm glad to see someone else came to the same conclusion I did though. Side note, there's a lot of points against and in favor of Trump on his views on gun rights. It needs its own video because it's an interesting discussion to have. Basically, I'm kicking the can down the road because I don't want this video to be incredibly long. Here's a random comment section that I didn't really know how to categorize that was screenshotted by someone that shows some people in the subreddit honestly believe Barack Obama was better for the Second Amendment than Trump and the Bushes. The funny thing is, I don't even need to rebut these obvious misleading points. A Redditor did the job for me. Thanks, dude. He opened national parks to CCW. As part of a greater banking regulation bill the party wanted to pass, it was a poison pill the Dems chose to swallow. I honestly don't know if nobody knows this, or if they're just being disingenuous when they bring this up. firearms on Amtrak. This was part of a massive funding bill that, again, Democrats weren't willing to blow up over something fairly minor. Bush, too, supported extending the assault weapons ban. And Obama repeatedly asked for an assault weapons ban. I don't think anyone really considered George W. Bush pro-gun, me neither. Trump banned bump stocks and famously said, "Take the guns, go through due process later." Red flag laws by another name. Yes, Trump is a piece of shit for asking for this, but zero Democrats would have stopped him. That last part hit the nail dead center. A lot of people shit on Trump's first term position on gun rights, again, kicking the can down the road, but seem to forget that if Trump went through with the red flag laws, the Democrats en masse would be singing Kumbaya with him, something users on the subreddit seem to forget. The next set of posts I have for you guys are downright confusing. What I mean is, I really can't tell if these are liberal adjacent gun owners with their heads in the sand, or they just don't own guns at all. The best time to buy an AR-15 was years ago, the second best time is now. Time to hit the range. You're right, let me head down the street of my very far left-leaning city and grab myself a nice, oh, they're banned. It's really funny that some of the Redditors on this have to give people reality checks. This subreddit would be so much worse if these weren't here. I am grateful every day that I live in a pro-gun blue state. I can't even imagine dealing with this shite. Which state is that? It seems like pro-gun blue states are becoming scarce. Gee, I wonder why. I think we might be the only one left. LMAO. I am in Michigan. Some might say we are purple, but we are definitely lean blue. I guess if you're comparing it to California, yeah, I would classify as hot gun heaven compared to shitty California laws. But in reality, it's pretty mediocre. I'm going to go on a huge hunch, get ready for it, and say the reason it's not a gun controller's paradise right now probably has to do with the rural folk who vote one way. Not because the Democratic voters or politicians in Michigan are pro-gun. Which gun manufacturers to avoid as MAGA business? Was about to pull the trigger for the Henry Big Boy, but came across a post here saying that there were big Trump supporters. Don't want to pay a dime to these guys that hurt our democracy. Anyone else I should avoid? Edit. Let me be clear. There is conservative and then there is MAGA conservative. I understand this whole industry is conservative leaning, that's to put it mildly. I just want to avoid the level dipshits. The red hat and the pointing hat doesn't make much difference to me. I love this comment. I have some terrible news. Sorry to tell you that the evil red hats are almost half the country and are a big customer base of the gun industry. So good luck finding manufacturers that will alienate thousands of sales and their beliefs to cater to a smaller market. And to give credit where credit is due, some Redditors actually push back on this. We may be boned. Went to the local gun store to pick up some accessories for my friend's AR-15 build. In walks a dad and his son, with the kid, gotta be no older than 13 or 15, wearing a new gen black MAGA hat. Yes, I recognize the environment I was in and that kids can be extension of their parents, especially when it comes to politics. But the fact that the kid chose to wear the hat in public has me remembering how much Gen Z men went for Trump in 2024. I don't get how you still surprised at all. This just screams you've never been to a gun store in your life. I've seen kids with MAGA hats since 2016. I do like how he is intimidated by the thought that younger voters might not vote for his candidate of choice. You know what could actually change that? Stepping up the heat on your candidates that you approve of that don't like guns. But yeah, like that's ever going to happen. Because that requires Redditors getting off their keyboards and actually doing something. Are there any liberal-friendly gun shops in New York State 2 to 3 hours away from New York City? Just buy a fucking gun. Just the amount of comments that just dunk on the community is downright hilarious. I'm glad some people are brave enough to give reality checks in this echo chamber that is likely going to ruin their social karma score forever. Okay, for the last segment of this video, we're going to go over the most infuriating posts and comments that I could muster up. No overall theme besides giving you a migraine. From a purely practical defensive standpoint, hypothetically, I would rather own a reliable bolt/pump/lever action somewhere I am surrounded by like-minded progressive individuals than alone with the finest suppressed full auto SBR surrounded by nothing but maggots for miles around. If tensions increase, and they will increase, the concept of safety in numbers will rapidly eclipse the effectiveness of your personal arms. I can't believe he's actually done it. He would rather honestly give up freedom for safety. Benjamin Franklin wouldn't be pleased at all. I like how he thinks that crime will vanish if he groups up with other liberals. This shit only works on mountain lions, not generic crime. When you have to unsubscribe from one of your favorite gun tubers for posting cringe. If you guess their definition of cringe is not openly sharing the same beliefs as them, you wouldn't be wrong. Yeah man, you can't get emotionally invested in any gun tuber. I assume every one of them is a bootlicking until proven otherwise. I watch to get the info, but I don't like it. So if I'm correct, you're not a bootlicker according to their logic if A, you don't speak about your personal political views, or B, have the same politics as them and speak openly about it. Well, shucks. It seems like I'm going to be added to this list very soon, so I would like to thank the Reddit Academy for this gracious label of being called a NOTS attendee. Couldn't have done it without you. All y'all might want to rethink about posting pics of your guns. Honestly, not a terrible take, might have a couple of good reasons on why you shouldn't, so let's hear them out. Number 1. Reddit isn't exactly run by progressives or liberal types. Autocrats are part of the small club, and they are starting to think we're all a threat, and have long been collaborating to solve the problem of freedom. What kind of bubble are you living in? Reddit is run by progressive or liberals. The mods, the admins, the owners, it's a left-leaning bubble. Your voice is more protected than mine on Reddit. What do you mean? Number 2. This is all scraped by AI and bots. Oh god, if AI bots are scraping the subreddit and are trained off of it, we are so screwed. Number 3. Doge is implementing AI tools all over. I'm just going to be a gambling man and bet Doge isn't going to take your guns away because, as we all know, nothing ever happens. The last 2 are just relating to deportations of illegal immigrants that 100% don't affect them whatsoever, just the current big scary political thing that will put us all in camps. All of this just oozes of main character syndrome. Off topic, but this post right here is the main reason I don't like to cover political subreddits. Every post is like this. It's just the sky is falling every fucking day, so that if it actually turns out for it to be true, which is unlikely in my opinion, no one is going to believe it because they do this in almost every post. Just go to the front page of Reddit if you don't believe me, and you'll find a wealth of posts acting like Judgment Day has come. Okay, since we're talking about doom and gloom already, let me show you guys something that they find troubling. Justice Department deal ends a ban on forced reset triggers. Wait, Wubba Bubba, you're telling me that they're doom and glooming about the biggest win for all gun owners in the year so far? Yes! I'm no lawyer, but I think half the reason they settled is to moot the case. A SCOTUS ruling on the NFA would open the possibility of real machine guns instead of jank workarounds. I think you're right. In the same subreddit, they claim that the Supreme Court fumbles the ball when it comes to ruling on Second Amendment cases, which in recent history seems to be accurate. But now they claim this is some 10D space wizard foosball on the Department of Justice part that will not allow a machine gun case to go before the Supreme Court that will rule in its favor. The amount of flip-flop opinions from different members that contradict each other is a sight to behold on this subreddit. Not because they support gun rights, but because the ATF all got reassigned to the Gestapo. I want the ATF gutted as much as anyone else, but no, they're not going to be retrained as German secret police. They aren't going to round up Redditors and put them in camps. They can't stop comparing everything to 1940s Germany. It's camp this, secret police that. Sorry to tell you that it's never going to happen. Just like those RFK Jr. autism camps I'm still waiting to get signed up for. Hold up guys, I think the mailman just got here. Thank you. Well, only got one letter. United States Department of Health and Human Services. Better find out what the feds want from me. 2.
Name and address withheld.
We have determined based on your online activity, rhetoric, and interest that you are an well, that's a little bit harsh. Please report to your all expenses paid retreat to RFK Jr.'s new summer camps. Guys, I made it to the RFK summer camp. Look, Chud Tunnel Slide. Outside! I am waiting for this administration to show its true colors on firearms and guarantee the oligarchs don't want an armed population for what they have in mind. This is just classic cope. They can't stand what they see as the other side getting a win out of this. So now they're just going off, the oligarchs will show their true colors one day. How hard is it just to take a hard-fought win for the Second Amendment over party politics? Okay, last one. This one's a doozy. Something I've been concerned about. With the way things are going over the past few weeks with Trump essentially purging the federal government of anyone who isn't a loyalist, or attempting to at least, does anyone here worry that if you were forced to use your gun, the government would weaponize things like political party, social media history, etc., and look for ways to make a clean shot look bad? Oh. You mean like Kyle Rittenhouse, who they used his social media handle as evidence and withheld HD video of the event to make his self-defense look unjustified. Speaking of Kyle, have you heard of Kyle Rittenhouse? Yeah, that kid that drove his AR-15 to a protest in another state looking for somebody to shoot. What does he have to do with this? He grew up in Kenosha and lived 20 minutes away from it at the time. It's the opposite of what you're afraid of. He got off because he protesters. I think your concerns are founded in that they will continue to abuse the judicial system. No, he didn't get off because he protesters. He got off because it was a justifiable self-defense scenario, and anyone who watched the actual trial knows that. Each shot he took that day was seen as justified in the eyes of an impartial jury. You do realize if he lost this case, it would have set a precedent for radical anti-gun prosecutors to start charging everyday citizens who, like Kyle, had to defend themselves. Do these Redditors realize that if your life is in danger in most states, you have every right to oppose that danger with equal force? Redditors like this gentleman are intentionally misinformed and ignore the circumstances of the Kyle Rittenhouse case only on the fact that he is right-wing. Gee, Redditors backstabbing the Second Amendment due to party politics? Whoa, I've never seen this one before. Posts like these are the reason I changed my mind on doing a video on the subreddit. I honest to God thought it wasn't as bad as other subreddits, and boy was I wrong. A lot of you guys deserve to be called temporary gun owners, since you spread the most stagnating FUD opinions and cope that other non-gun owning Redditors that lurk there en masse are going to eat up as the gospel, which will lead to your gun rights being taken away even quicker than you can imagine. And knowing a good portion of the posts I've seen, I don't think it would bother most of you as long as your side wins. To the people who use this subreddit still, but may or may not agree with a couple things I said, keep being like those people in the comments who push back on objectively stupid opinions, narratives, and ideas that help absolutely no one. To the rest of the people watching, remember, the Second Amendment should always go above party affiliation. Never cave into compromises, tell your congressman to repeal the NFA, and nukes, nukes. Anything else? Oh yeah. Thank you for watching this video. Probably my most controversial video to date. You gotta get dirty sometimes to mine for those gems, and boy, I don't even think we've even cracked bedrock, so you may or may not see a follow-up in the distant future. Big thanks to just Twitter users for helping my research into the sub way easier by bringing some of these posts to light. I wouldn't have been able to find half this funny stuff without them. With that all out of the way, it's time for the catchphrase you've been all dreading for. Until next time, this is Wubba Bubba, signing off again.